Okay, day 210, this is part 8. Just up that street, about 3 minutes away, is Lou's Bar and Grill. And the manager, the assistant manager, excuse me, Warren, last name of Warren, Brendan Warren. I didn't meet him. I spent all day at Lou's today and I never got a chance to meet him. But he apparently was concerned about Seth at 1:45 a.m. and he wanted to give him a ride home. And he instead said, I want to come to the Wonderland. So I Googled Wonderland and got another location a little bit further up the road this way. But what you see behind me is the Wonderland Ballroom. And the interesting thing, it's kind of like a cool, kind of kitschy, divey bar. It's got a nice outdoor patio here, as you can see. But then upstairs, it's got this kind of comedy club going on upstairs. But the important thing would have been that night that this place is open till 2:30 instead of the 1:45 close at Lou's, which is more of a suburban bar or more of a mall bar, if you will. So this is more of a kind of a hipper, whatever, comedy bar, etc. Now, the couple of things I do when I do this research is I don't have any preconceived conclusions. I walked up this street. If you walk up, this is Kenyon we're on. If you go one street that way, you're on Irving. If you lay a straight edge across Irving, it goes right to Dr. Sava's emergency room. I mean, directly to MedStar's emergency room. The whole, up through the moat, up through the hill, over the 8-foot fence, in through. If you can get through the gauntlet, you get to Dr. Sava's emergency room. Now, I am not that brilliant, but I hang around and I watch for people to come off work. I just started asking nurses coming off work, you know, wouldn't happen to be a trauma nurse, would you? You wouldn't happen to be working the trauma, you know, you have one of the best trauma units in Washington, D.C. Do you know Dr. Sava? And so I finally, after a long time, finally met a gal who was in the trauma center, and she said, no, I don't know who Dr. Sava is. Now here's a guy who's done YouTube videos about how he started on 9/11. He started on 9/11, and he couldn't get in, he couldn't do work and so forth, and all of a sudden 9/11 they dropped the restrictions. Interesting, the video I made earlier about a couple of days ago when I was in Silver Springs about USMLE. So he was a USMLE doc from another country, had a sheepskin from another country coming into the United States. So I don't like that. I don't like it when people are coming in from another country, USMLE, no one knows what medical school they went to, and they're running a level 1 trauma care facility up the street for the #1 trauma care facility in Washington, D.C. And the nurses don't know who he is. To me, that's troubling. Now, I'm not saying anything negative about Dr. Sava, and I have a very strong appreciation for protecting the reputation of physicians, obviously. So that's my background. But there's also a name change for Dr. Sava from more of a Hungarian name, and it's Alta Yevik or something like that. So, just collecting data. Now, there's a comedy club here, and as you know, there's a dojo improv where I went earlier today. I deleted that video because I thought it may be a red herring, and I didn't want to impugn anyone, so I took that video down. So people are protesting my reporting this story. No, I did talk to the bartender here. She did not know Seth Rich. I talked to a couple of other customers here that knew Seth Rich, which is interesting. And they said he was at a party that night. So this is kind of the rumor mill and so forth. But the Daily Mail, August 14th, has Seth Rich here. And